y'all charging nail shop prices when you're doing the nails from your home?
Okay, I've seen a lot of people react to this, but there's a couple things that are really important for people to know and how we can kind of close that gap between what people think they should be receiving and what people are actually receiving. So I've worked in a shop. I'm also a licensed cosmetologist, did my 1,500 hours, got my license when I graduated high school back in 2013. I've been doing nails and makeup. Didn't really get into hair because I didn't like it, but I freelanced in makeup and I do nails now full time. A lot of this boils down to what they perceive as professionalism. People ask things like, oh, how are you charging shop prices? How are you excessively charging when you're not even in a shop? You're doing nails out of your house. So some of the bigger things that you're going to come down to when determining price and professionalism, when you're talking about a single person in a studio or in their home versus a shop, comes down to a few things for me. This is going to be sanitation and disinfection, as well as quality product and design technique. As a private nail tech, I prioritize all of those things. But having had shop experience, I know that behind the scenes, they do not prioritize these things. And I'm not saying every shop, but I am saying a large portion of shops. Not using new metal implements between every client, not changing the arbor bands on their e-files between every client. And for me, it comes down to quality product, the biggest one being MMA or the use of MMA. MMA is an illegal monomer that is not supposed to be used on people's nails. Why? Because it can cause deterioration, infections. It can completely break down your nail plate. You're more likely to have an allergic reaction to it. If you've ever left a shop and you've had your nails flare up, you've had your cuticles be red as fuck, you've had anything like that, you've had to go to the hospital and have your nails taken off. It's probably because the shop used MMA on you. The reason they use MMA is because, one, it's cheaper to buy. Second, they can cut EMA with it. And third, it's harder. Some shops even use MMA as a client retainer simply because they know that the nails are harder, so their client's nails are not chipping or cracking, so that client will continue to return to them for fills and new sets. And because it's MMA, this is where you get that shit where they will take another nail tip and pop your nail off. And the reason that people in home or in their own studio are charging more is, number one, product is not cheap. Product back in 2013 when I graduated is not the same price as product now. Technique. It takes a lot of time to continue to practice, learn techniques, and make sure that when your client wants them, you can execute it. And the last one comes down to time. I know quite a few nail techs who don't even charge for the time anymore because they're simply charging based on technique and the price of the product that goes into doing your nails, as well as maintaining the rest of their clientele base for that month or that few months or that year or however they decide to split it up. So the price increase really boils down to cost of product nowadays, time, and technique. All of that goes into the price of nails. You also have to factor in that if you're seeing someone who's in a private setting that pays booth rent or has their own private studio, you're probably going to be paying a little bit more right off rip because they have to pay that on the back end.